Hello everyone, Mr. Green Pump, your greenhouse infrastructure guru speaking. In this video number 17, I'm going to talk about pressure gauges and how to get the best quality at the lowest cost. If you watch this video to the end, you will never again be snookered when you go to buy a gauge. Before I begin with the gauges, I want to talk about the blue or red scale appearing more and more on pressure gauges. This would be the bar scale. Well, what is a bar? Where did it come from? And do we actually need the scale of measurement in the United States? In the 1700s, the bar was used as a unit of weight in an early version of the metric system, but has since been changed to a unit of pressure. Now, you are not going to believe what a bar actually is, but here it goes. One bar is roughly the air pressure at an altitude of 111 meters or 364 feet above sea level. This works out to be about 14.5 psi. A Norwegian meteorologist came up with this bar stuff to measure atmospheric pressure at various points on Earth by using a barometer. You'll notice in the word barometer, the word bar and the word meter appear. In the United States, the bar is not legal and is only recognized for limited use in weather forecasting. The bar has been legal in the European Union since 2004. So, do we need the bar in the United States for anything other than weather forecasting? The answer is no. So when you go to a service station to air up a tire, do you put 35 psi into your tire, or do you put 2.4132 bar into your tire? See how stupid this is? Let's move on to the gauges. The most important quality of gauges is accuracy. Do not under any circumstances buy a gauge where the specifications of accuracy are not listed or are unknown. There are basically two classes of rated accuracy. They are grade A and grade B. Grade A is plus or minus 2.12%, and grade B is plus or minus 3.23%. What do these numbers mean? Gauges are most accurate at the middle portion of the scale. In the case of grade A, the reading could be off by as much as 2% at the low end and at the high end of the scale. But at the middle of the scale, your reading could be off by no more than 1%. Grade B is not as accurate and uses the same rating system. So if you know the approximate pressure you will be measuring, select a gauge so that the pressure will fall into that mid-range portion. Gauges are most common in the 15, 30, 60, 100, 160, 200, and 300 psi ranges. Other gauge amounts can be found, but these shown here are by far the most common and available. So the next most important thing for you to consider is whether you want a dry or a liquid-filled gauge. A liquid-filled gauge is much better. The glycerine filling helps dampen the effects of pulsation and vibration, while also lubricating the moving parts. The liquid-filled gauge will have a much longer service life and will remain accurate much longer. Yes, sir. You there with your hand up. Do you have a question? Go ahead and ask your question. That's a very good question. Is the glycerine like nitroglycerine? Is it flammable? And will it explode? No, it's a completely different form of glycerine and is made mainly from soybean, coconut, or palm oil. Thank you for your question. The next thing you want to consider is how big a gauge do you want. A 2.5-inch gauge is easier to read as compared to a 2-inch gauge. Size matters, especially since they started adding the bar scale, which reduces the PSI numbers and the tick marks, which makes the gauge harder to read. The fourth thing I want you to consider is what type of body material to have. They generally come as either plastic, painted steel, or stainless steel. Your cheapest and least accurate gauges come in plastic and usually have a cheap plastic lens that darkens and dulls with age, much like some car headlight lenses do. I do not recommend these at all. The best gauge bodies are made of stainless steel because they can withstand most environments. You will notice that by looking at these gauges, the 2.5-inch ones are easier to read and even better without the bar scale. Most gauges have a bottom mount that has a 1/4 inch male national pipe thread made of brass, which actually has a diameter of 0.505 inches or slightly more than 1/2 inch. Consider making some gauge gloves to protect your gauges from sun and other damage, as I first showed you in my video number 4. So to recap, a quality gauge will have an accuracy of grade A, is liquid filled, and will have a 2.5-inch stainless steel body. The gauge brand I recommend is made by Carbo Instruments, located in Dallas, Texas. They are all over eBay with their bargains. A gauge with the right stuff can be had for about $11, plus or minus 20%. Your cooperation in liking, sharing, and subscribing is appreciated and will ward off those YouTube opia people hiding behind the curtain from discriminating and picking winners and losers. And now, in closing, I have for you the quotation of the video. It is from Terry Rossio. Mistakes are the byproduct of action, and this an accurate gauge of effort. Thank you, and have a above average day.